Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. I wanted to spend the time today to share with you some of the things, and I have shared with some of the people, and they're also confirming that they're sensing the same thing. It's kind of like as intuitives and as empath, things that you're picking up in the background that you may not be consciously aware that it's going on, but I want to break it down. I have been feeling, and again, my caveat is that, am I recording? Yes, I am recording. My caveat is that I am living in the middle of Manhattan. I have been picking up and sensing when I wake up in the morning, although I do all my practice, I do all the prayers, and I do the torsion field morning and night. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But when I wake up sometime in the morning, not always, I feel an underlying fear. And it's not clear to me where or how the fear is coming from. And I'm going to break this down slowly. We're going to go over all the details because I want you to make you aware of this, okay? Now, the fact that the world is changing in the United States, there's this tariff war that will unravel our economy and also global economy. Uh, there is all kinds of personal, interpersonal relationship. There's all kind of like everybody is walking on eggshell. Everybody is renegotiating who they are, what they are, and their identity. Everybody is trying to figure out how they fit in an ever changing world. And that comes with a lot of angst, a lot of insecurity, a lot of feelings of again, as I said, I'm waking up in the morning not feeling exactly panic, but certainly fear. And it's a background fear. Okay. I'm afraid it's like a spiritual dissonance. Like my body is reacting to something that my mind doesn't know yet what it is. And I have to tell you, when I query, the way it shows up for me is that it begins to show up and inflame emotionally all fear that I thought I had resolved in the past. Okay? For example, for me, what comes up is that I am not safe. And I thought these issues were things I resolved post-pandemic. I had done so much work. I thought I resolved some of that stuff already. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. It took me back to my father and the insecurity and the sense of constant eggshell walking that was happening when he was in my life when I was a young boy. Where every time he showed up, you don't know which father was you're going to get because my father was an undiagnosed schizophrenic and he used to be so emotionally unstable. None of us knew which dad was coming in, and it brought all of these things back for me. And I spent several days, if not weeks, trying to examine what part of that relationship is still unresolved for me. Okay? And to try to figure out what are the back door that is open or are open, and how do I close them, right? And I kept going down, 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 and I began to realize recently that actually what I'm picking up is not me, but because of the way the subconscious mind works. In other words, I'm picking up global angst, global fear, but because the way my subconscious mind works, the feeling that I'm feeling was so big that it connected it to situation in my past where similar feelings showed up and it brought it forward for me. You see what I'm saying? And I want to, because grief is like that too. When you're grieving, let's say a loss, a recent loss, you're grieving that loss, but every other loss that you have ever had in the past will show up as well. And I'm beginning to realize this feeling of not feeling safe, of not feeling that I am secure about my future. I'm secure about where I'm going. I'm secure and I have a sense of uh, direction and I feel like when after I get up, I go to the shower and I get myself together and I start doing my routine. I feel fine. I begin to rest. I go back to the torsion field. I let go. I go back into the rest of God. I'm fine. I'm fine. But more and more, and this is the way I am, is that initially the feelings feel like I'm in my core, everything is fine, but there seems to be like a dark cloud that's in the perimeter. And the dark cloud begins to encroach more and more before I become completely cognizant and conscious that it's there. So I want to bring that point up and make you understand that if you are maybe at this moment feeling moments of fear that seems completely irrational, because in every other ways things in your life are going well, and something is encroaching, it may be related to the fact that you may be picking up something that exists in the collective unconscious of humanity, even if it appears to connect back to your own personal past experiences of feeling unsafe. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, for me, it's been anger, not fear, but extreme anger, which I know is not from me. But I've
Mm.
been feeling this deep, fiery anger, and I'm like, this is not from me. It's definitely the collective, because I mean, so many people are angry right now, right?
Yes,
There's
yes,
so much
yes,
anger to the orange man and everything that's happening. So
yes.
people are furious, and I've been feeling it around me. Also, people's actions. Like
Yeah.
one of the women flipped out one day. Just one of the students, she
Mm.
went crazy. In nutcase, she just went completely off. So there's this strange, really deeply rooted anger that is around, and people are losing it a little bit. Even people when you're driving, like they're angry. Like
Yes, yes,
everybody's
yes.
so angry.
Yeah.
So I have been picking up on that anger quite a bit, and I know that it's not from me. It took me a bit to understand where this deep anger was coming from, but yeah.
Yeah, because at first you begin to interpret it as coming from me.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I did. And I was like, what is this? And why am I so angry? And I'm even thinking, is it my hormones or what? So I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even there yet.
Yes.
So then I was like, no, this is not from me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, I would second that and say, in a conversation I had with somebody else today, was reporting anger that had welled up at a well-deserved, perhaps, incident, one could say, but it was the summation of all the angers of the last years in her life that piled into that outburst of anger, much as you were saying, grief calls upon all the losses and the grief that you may have suffered over your lifetime. So it's like this a sympathetic resonance of two tuning forks. If you start one tuning fork to resonate, it will, if there's a sympathetic response in the other one, the second one will start to automatically, without being struck,
Hmm.
to resonate in the same tone. So it seems to me that there must be a resonance within us
Hmm.
if collective is, how do I say, dumping this emotional anxiety, anger, grief, mixed emotions, that there's got to be something within us that it receives it and inflames that within us. Do you think?
Yes, yes, Janice. We talked about this about 3 weeks ago when we talked about the group body karma, right?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, when you, because of the mirror neuron that exists in me and in all everybody else in humanity, and since we are part of the collective unconscious of countries and humanities, and we belong to all of these group bodies and all these egregoires, so the egregoire, when the collective unconscious is angry, that anger will inflate, and every member of that egregore will sense the rage and the anger, and they will become enraged and anger. Unless you become like you, not all of us, you start becoming more conscious and realize, wait a minute, this is not me.
All right. So thank you for reminding me of that group body response. So it's not necessarily something that is, I want to say, lacking in us or some piece of work that we have left to address, but it is more the collective.
Yes, and the way it shows, the way it showed up for me, it wasn't anger that showed up for me. For me, I'll be honest with you, it's fear. And when when I went down the rabbit hole, at the bottom of it is that you're not safe. And it went back to my dad to think. I thought I looked at this in every, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the flashlight and look at it again. There must be something that I'm missing. And this took me a good 2 weeks to finally realize it's not my dad. I'm picking up something much bigger.
It's primal, really.
Yeah, there's something much bigger, and that's bigger thing is the fact that we as a collective, as humanity, we're feeling whatever is going to happen. We know what's going to happen energetically. Our mind is not prepared to understand it, and more importantly, to adjust to the change that needs to occur while this change is taking place.
Pierre, can I say something?
Yes.
I think what happened is also the fact that when you experience fear, the first time you experience fear, it was through my dad.
Yeah.
And the emotion is there.
Yes.
And of course, now you're feeling the fear and you go back to that emotion.
Yes, yes,
you,
yes.
You automatically go back to that emotion,
Yes.
thinking that it has to do with my dad, but no, that's not what's going on. But
yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Yep. And the idea of finding safety in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, when you're going to the back door, it says very clearly over and over again, when you're praying to the various Buddhas, and depending on the day of the Bible that you're in, it's a 49-day period. Every day it's a different Buddha, a different experience that tests the consciousness to see if consciousness will accept this immense light as being consciousness owns identity. And most people fail. They don't accept it. They think it's God or it's an angel. But there is a prayer at the beginning of every day to the Buddha and the consort of the Buddha and the Dakini that exists in each of these various days. This is the Bardo is in Tibetan Buddhism, by the way, it means a gap or an intermediary state that exists between two states of consciousness. Like if I'm awake and I fall asleep, I don't remember how I entered a dream. There was a blackout period. That blackout period is called the Bardo. It's a gap. And the whole teaching of Tibetan Buddhism is to teach a candidate how to become consciously immortal so that you can move consciously from being awake, going through the Bardo, and going past the Bardo so that you can consciously make decision about, because the decision you make when you're in that other state of consciousness is key. And in the Tibetan Buddhism, they kept saying the whole experience of those 49 days before you reincarnate again, that every day it's an opportunity for you to remember that whatever you experience, that luminosity, the brilliance that you see, that light is not God, it's not an angel, it's not the deceased family members alone, it's actually you. So recognition of that, and the only way you can recognize it is if you become conscious, right? And I'm saying this because we are transiting from 3D reality. It's not even a state of consciousness. We are dimensionally ascending. This is even bigger. Not just one dimension, but 2 dimensions at a minimum. So it's going to require a lot of work on our part to remain to, this is why all this self-development work, all this inner query, this inner work is to this query to actually become aware of what you're feeling. What am I picking up? What am I feeling? And I have to be honest with you, because of this, I have had a sense of lethargy, meaning that I feel like I'm stuck because I'm examining this. I'm trying to figure out what's my next move. What am I supposed to do? Because I feel stuck. I feel stuck. Why am I feeling that I can't move forward? Because I don't have the clarity and the rest that I had before. The sense of rest and clarity.
You're feeling tired too?
Say that again?
You're feeling tired, you said?
Yes. Yeah, of
I'm
course.
feeling exhausted.
Yeah,
Like I have to take naps, like 90 minutes naps in between.
No. I have
That's
that as
crazy.
well.
Yeah.
It's happening in mid-afternoon.
Same here. Exhausted. Like I need to take a nap, otherwise I can't continue kind of
Yes,
working.
and
Crazy.
many times I've taken naps as well, power naps.
Yeah, power naps. I have to.
Yes, otherwise I can't continue.
I can't continue nowhere.
Yeah, it's like everything is shutting down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a question. If we are growing in terms of development of our releasing of these emotional traps that maybe have been part of our lives for a long time or many lifetimes, is it possible that these are tests for us? We're presented with a situation that could inflame us, and that it is a test for us not to become embroiled.
Absolutely. Everything positive or negative is a teaching module. Everything is an opportunity for us to grow, to evolve, and for consciousness to achieve a greater mastery.
Like
Everything.
Job, pardon me. I was going to say like Job, who
Yes.
continued to, pardon me, to praise God, even though he had insurmountable tragedies in his life.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to bring this, I want to connect this to something else. And it's extremely important because what's happening right now in the world is that karma, or personal karma and planetary karma, is being accelerated. It's moving extremely fast. This is why in my channeling, the Galactic Region Council called this period the quickening. It's going extremely fast, which means you can get overloaded with karmic. Again, karma is not punishment. It's not God's revenge. It's actually correction or repair. It's an opportunity to repair and to correct. But sometimes when too many things are piled up upon you, you feel overwhelmed and you don't know which way to go because you get confused, you get lost, and you get completely overwhelmed. So the thing with the karma is that we need to be very aware that because of the connection to group bodies, for example, for me, the lack of the sensation of not being safe triggered something else in me. That's extremely important for me. So being safe has tentacles for me because of the way I grew up around a schizophrenic father, which is I'm not in charge or control of anything. I am at his will and whim, and he can do anything he wants to me, and I'm not in charge. I'm not in control. So it triggered the sense of I'm not in control. Now, I did a lot of work to surrender all of this to God and give control and power over to my God and to my higher power as a way for me to heal that part of me or that back door that was open. So I went back to that. I'm like, God, have I not done enough to surrender that feeling and that sensation of feeling like all these things, being a victim, all these things are happening to me, and I don't have a sense of direction or a sense of empowerment connected to my own well-being, which led to another point. Since I am empathing and picking up from the group body, and the group body is actually superimposing in my consciousness collective karma. That collective karma, and this is the awareness I want to bring to you. When you're feeling this thing, whether it's anger, whether it is fear, whether it is panic, whether it is victimization or lack of control, all of these feelings, if they are not yours, you need to be very careful and also understand that the way forward to disconnect all of this is to realize that at this moment, because of your connection to the karma of someone else, and it doesn't have to be good body very far. It could be your partner. It could be a family member. It could be a friend that you're trying to help. And because of your connection to them, it's not in your karma to feel this feeling at this moment. But because of your connection to them and your desire to give them a hand up, and it's easy for us as healers for that to transform into me becoming the God's assistant. I'm going to give you a hand up. No, I'm going to lift you up and carry you. And as I'm about to do this, and I'm lifting you up and I'm carrying you, the moment that begins to happen, then it translates into something else. The karma of the person is now on my shoulder. I'm helping them carry it. And more importantly, because I'm helping them carry it, I have capitulated my power to them. Not consciously, but I have capitulated my power to them. And this is immense, because without my power and my sovereignty, I will not be able to realize this is what is able to tell us, this is not mine. This belongs to that person. It's their karma. I'm going to let them figure it out. I can give them hints and help, but I'm not going to carry the load for them. But if you feel somehow obligated, I need to help this person, it's because you have, not consciously, but you have somehow agreed to give them, to capitulate your power to them, and to merge your journey and your path forward with them. Because you need to drag them on your bus. You need to help rescue them. You need to be God's assistant. You need to do whatever it is that you need to do. And as you do this, you are setting yourself up for a lot of beating, particularly in this time when everything is accelerating extremely fast. Everything is moving very quickly. So the idea is to try to figure out a way. If I need to close all these back doors, I have to connect to my power, my personal power. And where is the seat at my personal power at this point? If it's outside of me, then there's a problem. And if it is outside of me, even the torsion field cannot be done correctly. Because to command and say, be gone, time and space, I have to come fully in my power. Because the guardian in 40, 5D, 60, all the higher dimension, all the way back to God, or dropping on top of us their torsion field of light and protection and neutrality, and they're empowering us with this. But us in 3D, it's not just our neutrality we need to be in, but we need to be in our personal power. And it's very, do not underestimate the enemy. Because these archons and these high principalities in high places are extremely intelligent. It's a brilliant piece of emotional chess that they're playing with the whole group body of humanity. They are brilliant at this. Up to about this morning during my meditation, that power thing was invisible to me. I couldn't see it. I didn't see it. And it took till this morning for me to realize, oh my God, my power is not in me. And this is the reason why I have all the doubt and I don't have my clarity. I don't have all of this, is that I am trying, because I'm feeling so much fear and I think the world is in panic. Let me help them. My heart is so open. I have to figure out a way to, and then as I do this, all of a sudden, my power is not in me. It's not a conscious decision. It's a decision that's made incrementally, drip by drip, drop by drop, over time. And we all need to think of us, whatever the feeling is that it's coming to us, however, the influence is coming to us, whether it is the anger, the rage, the lack of control, the fear, the lack of not being safe, whatever it is that's showing up, we need to ask ourselves, in addition to that, where is my power? Is my power in me, or have I somehow, because I'm empathing, I'm picking up other things, did I somehow carry the karma, the collective karma? And if I'm carrying the collective karma, is my power in trying to redirect the collective karma, whether the karma is with one person or all of humanity? Am I trying to redirect it? Not consciously. Am I being a martyr unconsciously by giving my power away like that? Does that make any sense? We have to be very careful, because that idea of power and connected to or power correctly is the key to, because it's ascension is the threefold flame. It's love, it's power, and it's wisdom. And so if my power is out, I will wobble along, and I could have all the insight possible and empathically feeling all the dry emotions and empathy and mercy and acceptance and all that. But if I don't have my power, I cannot activate anything. I cannot rescue myself. I cannot rescue anyone else. I can't do anything.
So how do you reclaim it?
Okay, good question. Let's go into it. Yes.
Great.
Some of you may have remembered, it's in my book, The Plan for Ascension. I think it's chapter, is it chapter 2? Chapter 2 or 3? Let me see. Chapter 3. It's called Personal Power. The whole protocol on how to do it is in the
Go.
Yes, I'm sorry?
We did this like 10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
Remember?
You look at it, it's there in this book. It's in my book, The Plan. And so the personal power, the whole program is in there. But I wanna touch upon some highlights and talk about what's important for us to remember about what our personal power is. Our mind is not uniform. It's split in multiple pieces or consciousness. You have the subconscious mind, you have the conscious mind, and you have the superconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not operate the same way our conscious mind works. The subconscious mind is highly intelligent, but it's a different kind of intelligence. it has a tendency to repeat, it creates automatic reaction. For example, how you learn how to, for example, to ride a bicycle. At first, it's an impossibility because it's two wheels, you have to maintain balance, and you have to somehow figure out a way to hold yourself so that you can go straight. And if you look down, you fall down. But the moment you understand it, by repetition and doing it, somebody holding you from behind, and repetition, the moment you get it, at any other time in the future, the moment you get in the bicycle, you will know exactly what to do. You just grab it and then you go. That's the subconscious mind. Anything that's repeated for 21 days or more in front of it, sip in from being conscious, like it's like teaching a dog a trick or something, being conscious, and you learn it and you repeat it. After you repeat it for 21 days, it sips in the subconscious mind and it becomes a law. The neural net or established, that unit of behavior is learned, and it will repeat it. It will repeat it ad nauseum. It will know the moment you get in a situation, your body will automatically take over. You don't have to think about it anymore. It just does it. The same is true, for example, for growing our hair or nails, renewing our skin, breathing, a whole bunch of autonomous function, are basically done by this intelligence. Our conscious self is the chooser. At any point, that chooser should be in charge and should be telling us, for example, let's say, for example, for several days we were doing a certain situation and all of a sudden we realized there's a danger. We decided, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need to walk away. You could be in a relationship with somebody for many years and all of a sudden realize, I'm not safe in that relationship, or this person, we're not in love anymore. For whatever reason, I need to walk away, and separation happens. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, cannot let go of things that easy. When things are repeated in front of it over and over and over again, it's like a splinter psyche. The subconscious mind, it's the and it's actually the largest part of us. It's the part of us that whatever conscious decision and repetition we create, it sips in and it becomes a law. And that law in that fragmented psyche will operate nonstop unless you create a new law, you deprogram it, and you create a new law now to change or transcend it into something else. Now, a lot of people who are doing self-development work have a habit of, what do you call this? Asking, creating new affirmation. And the affirmations are correct. You create new affirmation and you create a new law, okay? And particularly for those of us who grew up, like everyone else on the planet, around trauma. Let's say you were bullied as a kid. People kept telling you, you're ugly, or you'll never be anything, and all that. And that subconscious part, that because they were repeated multiple times, sinks in. And you have an internal saboteur in your subconscious mind that's telling you you're ugly, or you don't have a voice, or shut up, and all of a sudden you don't have a voice, you can't express yourself. So these things are in your subconscious mind. So on the one hand, the subconscious mind is capable of making you stay alive because it renews all these parts of your body. It has all these positive functions. We want to keep the positive, but the ones that are hindering us, that were there as survival mechanism. For example, for me, when I witnessed what my dad was doing to my mom when I was 4 years old, and I made a decision at that moment that I couldn't explain to anybody, but I knew at that moment I wanted to be self-sufficient. And the way I became self-sufficient is that I lean into giving compulsively to everyone else. I don't need to receive from my dad because when I receive from him, I'm vulnerable to him. He makes me feel unsafe. But when I keep giving and giving everything to everybody, it gives me a sense of quasi-control. I feel like I'm in charge, I'm in control. Both reactions are now part of my, or were part of my subconscious mind. Right? And so I have to now spend my time thinking of a way to reprogram this. Now, a lot of coaches, spiritual teachers give new affirmation. I am the light of God. I am abundant. I am rich. I am beautiful. I am, all of these I am stuff. But what they fail to do, because if, for example, you create now a new thing that says I am beautiful, or I am in charge, I'm in control of everything that's happening in my life, the first program is not deleted. Now you put a new program now, and the two programs in your subconscious mind will begin to fight with each other. And you will go like a seesaw from one to the other, from one to the other, and sometime in one day or sometime in one afternoon, and you think you're cuckoo and you're crazy because your emotions are all over the place. In the program that's in the book that I've helped you through, in chapter 3 of the book, it talks very clearly about this fact. You need to call upon Master Dwakul, who invented this technology, and ask him to ground into your body on a continual basis the core fear metrics removal programming, and to remove all of these subconscious programs that no longer serve, and to do this continuously. Because how many times have you been told by your bully, shut up, or you're ugly, or whatever it is the negative program was? And as each time you were told, that's another layer. These ascended masters are so respectful of our will and volition, because we are maybe disempowered God and goddesses, but we are God and goddesses nonetheless. When you ask him to come in and remove these negative programs, he will remove one layer, unless you see continuously. While I'm asleep at night, remove all these negative programs that are disempowering me and causing me to, and in this instance, for example, if I'm discovering I have given my power away, all these negative programs that have disconnected me to my power, as I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to ask Master Rakul to come in, and I'm going to do this for 21 days to delete all these negative programs. Now, the program also has, I think it was around 30 or 33 affirmation that you have to repeat aloud every day as well, to now create a new subconscious program to replace what Master Rakul is deleting. And this is the brilliance of this protocol. Because unless you delete, you're going to have internal conflict, and then you're going to be more emotionally all over the place than anything else. I wanted to remind you of this and go back to that chapter and go, because it's laid out in great details and shows you exactly what you're supposed to do. Because without doing this, you're not going to be able to hold and pull yourself together. I didn't realize, I knew, for example, here was where I got confused. But by the way, any questions, any comments about this? I'm jumping ahead. Any questions, any comments? Now you can ask an ascended master, Archangel Michael, whomever, to come in and give you, to empower you, and you will be empowered temporarily. But the stuff that in your subconscious mind, it's your responsibility. If you have a permissive personality, if you have particularly for the people that we love, we tend to carry their karma. We tend to be so, we push aside the flaws, we empath and carry their karma. It's because your power is in them. And you have to figure out a way to pull that power back to you. And so that it's not that you're going to cease to love them or to care for them, but you cannot go down. When I was a lifeguard in college, one of the first things they teach you how to do, you don't ever jump into an active drowning victim and try to rescue them by yourself. You need to go with a buoy or something to extend to them, because if they grab you, you're both going to die. And in the process of you grabbing somebody else's karma, thinking you can help them, you're not helping them. The both of you are going to go down down the tube. You need to disconnect and remain in your power, because then you can really help them. And the way we did this as a lifeguard, you go in with a buoy. You jump in the water during the rescue. You see them drowning. I've done this so many times as a lifeguard. You grab a buoy, you jump in, and you extend them the buoy. If they're unconscious, that's a different story. Or if they're calm, you begin to talk to them. You say, don't worry, I'm going to help you. And then you grab, there's a certain way for you to grab, to swim with them, and you drag them back with you. But if they're actively drowning and they're doing this, people who are in panic or in distress, that's what they're doing. People around the world, that's exactly what they're doing. You trying to help them or feeling their feelings and their emotion, your power is outside of yourself. I didn't realize that part. I was thinking that my power is connected to my subconscious archetypes and complexes, my own interpersonal childhood traumas. I didn't realize the component that relates to us connected to group body and sharing, trying to empathing other people's karma. That's the part I was not consciously aware of. So we all have some work to do. I know I do. I have to do a lot of work to claim my power back. Because all of the healing techniques that I've been teaching you, although some of you may have been successful to a degree or another, whether it is after you do the torsion field and you sense somebody, let's say Jane Doe, in the field around you, and that person, you already have their permission to do healing for them, and then you think of the alignment, the serenity, and the mercy, and the neutrality that you have, and then you repeat that simple sentence. May the peace, the serenity that I know, the peace, the serenity, and the neutrality that I know. And then wherever they are energetically around you, you say, pass on to you, and then you, as you said this, you project that entire column on top of them. And you hold it there for about 5 minutes. Immediately, there's going to be a change for them. But when I am in my power, this is going to work beyond measure. Not only there's going to be an immediate amelioration, there will be an instantaneous healing if you're doing it from your power. But if I am empathing them, and I'm feeling all their feelings, and I'm worried about them, and this only happened for the people that we care the deepest for. Because strangers that are contacting me from the internet that I don't know, when they tell me that they have a problem, I can do the healing fine because I'm not emotionally attached to them. It's the people that we know intimately and we love and we care for. Those are the ones that we project our power into because we're trying to rescue them. Not consciously, but we're trying to rescue them. And so when I'm feeling these feelings, and I know these emotions are coming in, I have to be very careful, because when I say, may the peace, the serenity, and neutrality that I know, if I say it from my power, pass on to you. Sometimes the person is in front of me, I touch them, and when I say pass on to you, immediately the person, if they had scoliosis, if they had whatever it is that they had, it's removed. All of a sudden, they're miraculous. They're like, what did you do? Did you adjust me? Did you? It's because you're in your power. And you're acting as the celestial axis or the rod of Melchizedek itself. But when your power is outside of yourself, you're so scattered, you haven't brought all the pieces back into yourself. You're not a monad. You're not one. Monad translated as one. You're not one yet. So we have to be very cognizant and very aware that and let's not get into the second way of intercession we talked about over the past few months. When you say begone time and space, and you extend your hand out and you project your entire antakarana into a space or room, creating a measure of God, a circle or a space where you insert them. Let us find the safe passage, heal the planet, or whatever it is, the command or the decree that you want to insert in. To do this, you have to be completely in your power. Otherwise, you can't project it. Any questions, any comments? I know I'm giving you a lot. And I know your mind is racing, so tell me, talk to me.
Really, I understand. I'm just trying to absorb it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have the torsion field with begone time and space.
We'll go over this again, okay? Don't worry about it. Going forward, we will. Yes.
Okay, good.
That technology, this is literally you being, and this is all of us in the near future, becoming like Gandalf on the bridge of Khazad-dûm and telling the demon of Belrock, you shall not pass, because that's what he did. That whole, and if you go on YouTube and you put in Gandalf, you shall not pass, you will see it. That graphic where he's running on the bridge and everybody passed, and then he still felt the demon, and he took the staff. The staff that he's holding is a symbol for his entire antakarana. This is the torsion field all the way back to God. It's an externalization of the antakarana. And when he said, you shall not pass, and he struck it down on the bridge, the entire section where the demon was fell into the pit. When a magician strikes something down like this with a staff, the staff being his antakarana, by the way, the staff is for show. None of us need the staff, because the antakarana is the staff. But there is a way, and I will teach you, this is a direct teaching for the Melchizedek order of neutrality. I will teach you, I will remind you how to do this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? And when you project it and you say begone time and space and you project it out, I don't want to do this because a few times I've done it on the video and I froze the video. for a few minutes because it changes the atmosphere. It changes everything. Okay? I have to be prepared to do this. And I want to be in my full power now that I realize that, I was not in my full power. I want to be in my full power to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I need 21 days of work to pull all that stuff together.
Yeah.
Okay? And so when you project it out, what you're doing is that when a magician, there is no such thing as a straight line in the universe. Meaning, if I were to take an arrow and shoot it in front of me, because the way the universe is as a torsion field, it would actually, if there was no friction and no gravity and endless velocity, it would turn around and come and hit me in my back. Every straight line bended itself and become a circle. So when the magician said, strike the rod down, they are creating a space or volume in which they're going to insert a command. In the case of Gandalf, you shall not pass. You can put in there healed, or in the case of Moses over the Dead Sea, give us safe passage. This is theurgy, and this is celestial magic.
We're basically creating miracles magic.
You're altering the physical laws of nature.
Yeah.
For you to do this, you have to be in your power.
Yeah.
And it's you're creating a temporary exception. And I have to tell you, in talking about Moses, in the passage of the Red Sea, according to the Kabbalists I studied with, when Moses, it wasn't Moses that did this, I won't get into the detail, but when the Red Sea separated, they said very quickly in the explanation in the Zohar, every body of water in the entire planet at that moment split in half. It wasn't just the Red Sea, the Dead Sea. Every body of water in the planet split in half. Because for momentarily, while the children of Israel crossed, laws that operate liquid in the planet were suspended and temporarily rearranged for something else.
Amazing.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, Pia, I hear what you're saying to us, but what I'm hearing for my own self is this. When you spoke about Gandalf speaking, the power of your words, your tongue is speaking life or death to you or whatever the situation that you find yourself in every moment. So you're saying align your thoughts, make constant course corrections, keep your focus, and align your speech to speak life unto your life. So when you are asking for something, just like if you were sitting to write a letter to someone, you would be conscious of the words that you're using. I'm only talking to myself. So when I think Psalm 51 is create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. This is a complete directive to me to order my words, my thoughts, before I speak them, to affirm the life in me that I wish to experience, because I'm casting a spell on myself. My body is 70% water. It's carrying a vibration, and it will do what I'm commanding it to do. So I'm just talking about to myself. For me, that's a visual formula for a go-to place, because there are times when you feel helpless. There are times you feel afraid. There are times you do feel angry. So what is the next word that comes out of your mouth when you are experiencing these feelings? Your body, it has an intelligence that creates a chemical reaction to every emotion that you have. And sometimes we have these go-to things that we've been familiar with, and so you go there. So you're telling me, Solidia, you need a course correction. You need to refocus. You need to say, in what am I trusting? And whom am I trusting? To what do I belong to? Who am I? Remember in that moment that what you speak will manifest, whether I think is good or whether I think is not so good. But if I don't want to feel that, then I don't need to speak that. So I'm working real hard on the course corrections in the moment, because you have to do them. You have to do them within the smallest fraction of time, the time it takes you to blink your eye. How many commands have happened in your brain from the time that your eye blinks to the time it opens? How many things have happened? That's how fabulous and magnificent this body that we find ourselves in. So I'm looking at myself as a car. Am I parked? If I'm going to get into gear, now where am I going? Am I going forward? Am I going backward? Or do I need to remain where I am in that neutral space? So what you gave to me today, and then I'm going to shut up. What you gave to me was a call to action. Because in my body, I'm God. What I speak is as God. So I'm realigning to the Melchizedek thought form of life. Wow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Solidia. Thank you. That was very deep. And may I add to what you're saying one additional thing. The power you're talking about to express your word is the key. Okay? Because we have subconscious program that cause us to intend and unintend. Scientists have done that research 3 to 5 times per minute. We want and we don't want, because we have all these internal saboteurs. So for you to create a real and permanent change and miraculous change, you have to cohesively deal with the internal saboteurs. Thus, asking Master Dracul to do whatever it needs to do during your sleep to remove all these negative programs. Then you need to also bring forward the fact that you are now a unified consciousness. So the affirmation that are needed to do this, and then when you utter the words, the entire universe will listen, because you are God and goddesses.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? So I'm giving you these little tidbits of information if you need a complete program, because the program, as it's written in the chapter 3 of my book, it outlined how to do it for the 21 days. The affirmation, what you do in the morning, what you do at lunch, what you do at noon, because you have to keep monitoring. It's a whole system on how to do this the right way. And if you desire to do this in 21 days henceforth, you will be so connected to your power. You will say to yourself, I can't believe I had never done this before, because it will shift you into you being in control and in charge of everything. I highly recommend you revisit this. And I know for me, I will, because I didn't realize through the group, but it never occurred to me. I had done all this work with my own subconscious stuff, etc. I didn't realize that through my emotional connection to other people, as our karma gets accelerated, of course it makes sense now, as our karma gets accelerated, to repair and to correct. So when I try to help and the help goes far beyond help, I'm now being God's assistant, and I'm trying to load the karma on top of me.
In regards to treating loved ones, in the homeopathy that I studied, they advise us never to treat loved ones. I mean, of course, with energy healing, you can't. You have to when a loved one is sick. But yeah, you do. It's very hard to be objective when you are treating a loved one.
Yep. And you're right. When my mom became very ill, I quickly realized by trying celestial light healing on her, I quickly realized that every time I did it, after the third or fourth time, I'm like, I'm never going to do this again. I did remote no more than 10 to 15 minutes for her. But me physically touching her, she surrendered everything and I took all of it in. Because she's my mom, of course I'm going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was sick after that. I literally cancel appointment. Like for 3-4 days following, I can't do nothing. Because every ache she has in her body is in me. So I realized that very quickly, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. I have to find a day. She was very upset with me at times, because she would look at me and said, could you? I would touch her for no more than 5 minutes and then walk away. She wanted the whole full. I can't do it, because I'm taking everything onto me.
Yeah.
So for now, examine for yourself in your interpersonal relationship, in your relationship with the rest of the world and the planet, where your power is. Because if your power is outside of yourself, you need to bring it back. And I have to tell you, just this morning alone, in the examination of that one thing, and the realization of that one thing, did something tremendous for me. Because suddenly I began to realize, oh my God, I can feel my power back just by thinking that I gave it away. Without having asking Dracul to do all of the stuff or nor doing the affirmation, I remember what it feels like to be completely in my power. And I feel renewed. Because I know now why I've been feeling stuck, lethargic, and kind of like, the best way I can describe it is like I'm shell shocked. And I don't know what I'm shell shocked about. Like I'm stunned, like a deer in headlight. As you said, Melton, and at time in the afternoon, I have to take a nap. I feel I'm not myself. I don't understand what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm asking around, is it the solar flares? Is it this? Why am I so?
All of that is going on, and which is all of that is going on as well.
Yeah, as well, yeah.
This is even more reason for us to be in our power.
Yeah, totally.
Any other questions or comments? So I know that as you do this work, you're going to get to a point where your power is going to return back. Because many of you have done that protocol with me multiple times over and again. So we've done this for so many years back. Redoing it again, it's a matter of revisiting something that you're familiar with and that you know very well, and it will immediately return back your sovereignty. It connects you back to your sovereignty. And in this instance, it's going to be even higher because now you're doing it in all dimension of time and space. Whereas before we were doing it as Pierre, as Melton, as Celidia, as Janice, as Marjorie, on Earth. We're going to do it as we do it now. It's Yenta and Takarana.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Exciting.
It's going to connect you, and it will create all kind of shift, all kind of abundance, all kind of one of the things in my meditation that's been coming to me is that I accept the abundance and the perpetual renewal of God. I accept the abundance and the perpetual renewal from God. And it's been coming almost like during my meditation after I do the torsion field. That's what comes. Now, if I do the measure of God and I project beyond time and space, and I said, I accept, and I do it around myself, and I said, I accept the abundance and the prosperity of God. What do you think is going to happen when laws of nature are suspended to create a new command? When you're fully in your power, not just as you as a fragment of your complete self, but you completely integrating all your dimensional aspects. You're going to be unstoppable. And those are the kind of teachers and leaders that the planet need. Because once you're that empowered, you can intercede and do all kinds of things for people all around you. With that kind of connection, you can, just your presence alone around other people will begin to shift them into something else. I have to say to you that I'm very grateful to God, because this morning, that was the blind spot that for the past 3.5 weeks, I couldn't see. That was the one thing that I didn't see, which was, I didn't know where my power was. My power was not in me. I didn't realize it. And I have to be grateful to my higher self and to God for bringing that information to me and make me realize your power is not in you. You give your power away because you're empathing and you're trying to help the whole world and the planet, and you've projected it outside and it's no longer in you. It's okay to temporarily share it and it will return back, but the people that I'm close to that are in crisis, I didn't realize I was doing this, but I did it nonetheless. We all are human. This is part of the human experience. I was trying to help them to the point that I was taking some of their karma. And we don't want to do this. It's the worst thing that you can do in the world. Because at this moment, everybody is supposed to address their karma, because it will give them an opportunity to untie that knot and create the right correction, because everything's being accelerated and the opportunity to do this. I had told you last week, you call the Lord and the ladies of the coming board, because they will help accelerate and bring the opportunity for all of that stuff to be resolved.
Ask you, Pierre, if to tie this up in a summary, being in your power would be the antidote as well to picking up collective anxiousness, fear, anger, that it's not a question of so much asking Master Dwakul to install the core fear matrix removal program and the affirmations as it is calling back your power to yourself then.
It is actually both. Dracul is there to assist, but you're the one that's going to have to do the work to call it back. Because by yourself, you will not be able to do it. If you just call it back, it's not going to be enough.
So I thought you said recognizing that it was not in you, your power, was enough to bring it back.
It brought back the memory of what it felt like. But will it, when the next crisis show up? Because right now I'm empathing and I'm absorbing all of these things. So what will happen tomorrow morning when I wake up? Will I feel the same fears? Possibly. But if I do the protocol for 21 days, I will not feel them.
Okay.
Do you understand what I mean?
All right. So both are needed.
They are needed. They are needed. And it's a great revision. It's something I've done. I don't know how many times I've done this protocol. I may have done it something like in my life so far since I downloaded the information, maybe 7 or 8 times already.
Well, thank you for reminding me, reminding us of this. I'd forgotten about that.
Yes. So I'm going to have to repeat it again. It's okay. I don't mind repeating it. But it's going to connect me to my power. And you will feel it by the 4th and the 5th day of reading this affirmation and doing all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh my God, I feel so good. And here is the great thing. When you do the coffee matrix removal programming, by the 4th and the 5th day, you will wake up in the morning with a pep in your step saying to yourself, I have never felt so rested in my entire life. Who doesn't want that? I know I do.
Yeah.
And what a great thing and service that Dracul is doing to do this for us.
Absolutely. And as you've all mentioned, I too wake up with an undefined ill of ease kind of situation, unidentifiable. And so it may not be fear, but the core fear matrix removal program would address any
All
of
of it.
fear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll do a closing meditation. 5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you noticed. Listen. Listen as if the more than 50 trillion cells in your body had ears. What kind of information, insights, and knowing. That this listening ability is sharing with you. What are you not seeing? What are you hiding from yourself? What information, feelings are you empathing from your group bodies? What burden are you absorbing from others? Keep breathing deeply and slowly. If me, my family, and my ancestors had hurt you, your family, or your ancestors, since the beginning of creation until now, by thoughts, by deeds, by words, by actions, by inactions, please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I call forth the Lord and the ladies of Karma, the Divine Director, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Pallas Athena, Lady Portia, Lady Nada, Lady Justice, and Elohim Cyclopia, and I ask for an acceleration in the repair and the reconciliation of my karma with all of my group bodies, a release that I may move forward in my own sovereignty. We call forth Master Dwakul, and we ask him to anchor into our body the core fear metrics removal programming, and to remove from our subconscious mind all core fears and programs that are draining and resisting the exercise of our personal power. And do this continuously for the rest of this evening until we become fully awake. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. Thank you for the blessings. I accept the gifts and I receive with gratitude. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre, and thank you to the Karmic Board and Master Dwakul. And thank you, Solidia, for your thoughts as well. Been very helpful tonight.
Thank you, Janice. I deeply appreciate your comments and everybody else's comment in the class this evening. I love you so much, family. And if you're watching us on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel. On Patreon, thank you for your patronage and your support. I will talk to you next week. Deep love, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.